What is up everyone, it's Eternal here with some more 7 Deadly Sins Grand Cross. Now today I'm going to be talking about gear and farming gear. My last video I talked about gold and how to farm it, so you can see I've got a decent amount of gold here, but still my combat class isn't there. Now what you need to do when you are gearing or farming gear is talk and think about the priority here. So generally you want SSR on the left side, and the reason being because you don't gain as many stats as compared to upgrading on the right side. Now if we go here, it's 333. Now if I swap in an R piece there, I lose 207, which seems like a lot. However, what I will be doing is with this R piece, I will be equipping that, and this piece here, I will be upgrading these pieces. So all of these here, I can switch out for their R, respective R variants. So I will equip those. Right, so her power level is going to drop, but what I will be doing is farming gear, okay? And so we know now that on the left side we want SSR, and on the right side we want R. And this is just to begin with. Later on, obviously, you'll be switching over to SSR on all of your characters, and then even UR later on when that's the release. But for now, whilst anvils are scarce, you want to be using gold here instead. So all this gold I've accumulated, I'll be using to enhance gear on this side, and I will go through and talk about how I'll be rolling those pieces of gear as well. The top here, these top two pieces, I will be rolling attack on those. So I'll be going to enhance. I'll go to enhance here, pop it on 5, just roll that through. So I'll upgrade these. But it's really simple. Like, people are like, you know, what? How do I roll my gear? What do I do? The top two pieces, you want attack percent. The middle two pieces, you want defense percent. And the bottom two pieces, you want HP percent. And that's a pretty hard and fast rule just because it improves your CP so dramatically, your points, and also improves your damage and your stats, and overall just the usefulness of your character. So all I do is I'll go to Awaken here. I'll awaken it with gold, and this is the reason that we're using R on the right, because you can use gold, and I'll be going for an attack roll. Now that's quite a low roll, so I'll be re-rolling this until I get something over 2% at least, so at least 2% attack, and for the sake of this video, I'm just going to roll until I get it. So you can see it only costs 10,000 there to re-roll. It's not too bad, and it's certainly better than having to use gems. So 2.9 attack is basically the best you can get. 3 is the highest, so that is absolutely perfect. And then all I'll do is I'll go through, enhance that again, and rinse and repeat until I've got a significant amount of stars. So I'll do that for each piece. So on the top two, like I said, I'll be rolling attack. But for now I won't be, I'll just be upgrading these to 5. So I'll be rolling attack here, defense here, and HP there. And you can see a good way to remember that is just the bottom piece gives HP, roll HP on it. The middle piece gives defense, roll defense on it. The top piece gives attack, so just roll attack on it, and it's as simple as that. So like I said, left side, SSR, right side, R. And that's just for now. So like I said, you can see that her combat class has actually dropped. So what I'll be doing is, there was one piece of gear, the belt I believe, yes, so the belt. I want to get that up to SSR, get my words out there. So I want this to be SSR, so what I'm going to actually go do is farm a belt. So an SSR attack belt. And I will show you how I do that now. So go to World. And to do this, you have to get your towns to 5 hearts. So I want to go to Chapter. So Chapter 1 is attack, 2 is defense, 3 is HP, I believe. So if I go through to... Oh. So Chapter 2, I think, is defense, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, and you can just click this little icon down here to show. So yeah, it's defense there. So I'm wanting attack, and I'm wanting an attack belt. So like I said, you can see which stage dropped it, and all you've got to do is go to quests, and then you'll go to Chapter 1, and you want to be doing these quests here. So you can see that I'm already in the middle of this. I'm 4 of 8, so what I have to go do is I want the belt. So I'm going to complete this, so I'll go complete this, and then I'll move on to the hard quest. So all you're going to do is, it's the same for whichever piece of equipment you're using, but basically you go through and you can do each one. So if I go do the necklace now, this is SSR, which I will not be needing at the moment, but in the future I will be for when I've got those anvils to upgrade. So I'll just be going to this hard stage here, and I'll just do another 4 of these, but I tend to just set it to set it to 8 generally, and all I will do is go and farm those through, so 4, and there's actually a 50% reduction on stamina at the moment, so this is the perfect time to be farming those 3 stages for your gear. So this is like the gear farming event right now. So I'll let this run through, and I'll come back once that's done. Okay, so I'm finished farming those 4 runs there, so I actually get an SSR attack pendant now for completing that. And this is the way that I would recommend farming SSR gear. Okay, so now that that is handed in, I can move on to the one that I'm wanting to do right now, and that is for the SSR belt. So you simply start it, you back out, and you should see it here. There we go. And then you can just go now, or you can just manually do it. And then all you need to do is go down to this stage here. Like I said, hit it 8 times. Perfect time to do it now with the 50% stam reduction. And you will have your SSR items. So that is how you farm SSR items. And you can do that, you know, chapter 1 is attack, chapter 2 defense, and chapter 3 HP. I would say those 3 chapters are the main ones that you want to be looking at. So I would prioritize on getting the friend level of the towns to 5 there first. Okay, and now I've completed those 8. So it's just farming, that's all it is. It's nothing too difficult. So I can hand this in now, and I get my SSR belt. So that's the piece that I was gunning for Elizabeth. Quest complete. And then you can get your next quest. But I don't want to do that right this second. So, like you can see, you can go through, you can farm whichever pieces you need. Just go to the appropriate chapter, and you can get the missions. Now, if we go to my Elizabeth, I've already talked a little bit about gearing and stuff like that. Let's pop the SSR piece on instead. You can see her HP is already boosted up there, and that is before I've even started to upgrade this piece. So this is where I start to put all that gold that I farmed to some use. So I'll take this up to 5, and then what I will do is start working on the pieces, the R pieces on the right. And typically that's where you're going to be upgrading first. I would not recommend awakening your SSR pieces until you have the anvils required to do that. Now, we don't really have a steady supply of anvils at the moment, and that's why I wouldn't go awakening now, because you'll be spending gems, and gems translate to coins and characters, which will either translate to enhancing your characters or more stamina to farm. So I don't really recommend using those pretty much ever. Now, there is an event on at the moment where you can actually trade 1 gem for 100 stamina, which I think is kind of worth it. It's not too bad, it's not a terrible deal, but I've got other things to be worrying about right now. So, like I said, you want HP on this piece here, and you can see it corresponds there. Like HP, just get HP percent on this, defense, get defense percent on this, attack, get attack percent on this. And it's the same for these once we've got the required anvils to upgrade them. So we'll be using the anvils to re-roll, but we'll be going for attack on this piece, defense on this piece, and HP on this piece. And that is generally the case for probably about 80 to 90% of characters. I'm upgrading Elizabeth's attack here because she's a healer, but she's based on attack. It does vary a little bit from character to character, but generally you'll be going 4-piece attack and then 2-piece defense for most characters. Now, there are certain scenarios where you want to switch it up. And now, there are certain scenarios where you'll want to switch it up. Some of those scenarios will be on a support character. Now, support characters are people like Merlin or King. That's kind of my interpretation of it. They're kind of supporty characters. They're not really there for damage. I mean, Merlin you could argue, but King, certainly you want to be keeping this guy alive. Now, the moment I do have attack gear on him, I believe, but that was just for the red demon, because you're not getting hit and it's not really an issue. But for PvP, I would swap all of these attack pieces out, and what I would do is I would exchange them for HP pieces, so I'd be going HP and defense instead. So I'll actually just swap this over because it's a little bit better. And like I said, he's in my red demon team right now, and I need that attack there for doing the extreme difficulty. So it's not really worth it for me right now, because the only issue you've got with King, because he petrifies, you have to beat their defense values with your attack, and if the red demon buffs up, I'm finding that I'm not doing enough damage to petrify it, and the attack is actually doing 0 damage, so it's a bit of an issue there. That's kind of where Merlin and Freeze characters beat out the petrify characters. Again, it would be the same scenario. I'm going attack on these top pieces, defense on these middle pieces, and HP on these bottom. It doesn't change. You will always, pretty much always, there are very few circumstances, fairly unique characters. Perhaps Jericho, you might change that, but apart from that, there are not really any circumstances or any characters that you want to deviate too much. So like I said, I'm just upgrading Elizabeth now, and there was another point I wanted to make. When you go to your enhanced, you have your enhance failure gauge or gauge. What you want to do is you want to fill this with your easier to upgrade equipment that maybe has like an 80 or a 60% fail rate or something like that. Like a failure there, it will go up by the amount of points. The points that go up will be equal to the amount of crystals that you spent. So if you fail with 3 crystals, it'll go up by 3, as you can see there, 88 to 891, 3 points. And what I would recommend doing is, don't, if you get to 100%, spend it. But how I would spend it is, I would not be spending it, I'll just back out of here. Wouldn't be spending it on this equipment here. What I would be spending it on is if I go to, I think Meliodas has some equipment that needs upgrading. Now what I would do is go to something that I've upgraded to maybe 5 stars here. I would enhance it, and then I'll use it here, because that's where you really need it. I've got like a 10% success rate or something there, so I'm going to be using up 90% here to get this up. So that's just a kind of a clever way to use it. But yeah, as you can see, I'm down to 1% now, so I just use 90% just to upgrade Meliodas is there. But rather than burning through all of your crystals trying to upgrade here and just brute force it, it's a little bit more of an efficient way, I find, to do it. So just build this gauge up from your weaker equipment, and then once you've got to, you've 5-starred it and you're trying to upgrade, use it there. It's just so much more efficient, and you'll get more for your money rather than just wasting all of those resources. So I feel like that's a better way to do it, and that's what I've been doing. Anyway, I think that's everything. If I've missed anything, or if you have any questions, please drop them below. And yeah, happy gearing up and making your character stronger. So I'll see you guys in the next video. What I will do is I'll also link the gold video in this video, so the gold farming and how I generate gold to upgrade my equipment. And yeah, so if you guys need that, it will be somewhere hopefully. And yeah, see you in the next one.